Hola, chicas. Welcome to Encuentras Your Voice podcast, where Latina voices are amplified by sharing their powerful journeys from ancestry to authenticity, giving voice to generations past, often silenced or erased, while showcasing the aha moment of our guests when they embraced their authenticity and soared into success. I'm your host, Consuelo Crosby, here with you every Wednesday at a new time in this season 8. Given our expanding global audience, con gusto, we are dropping new episodes just after midnight on Wednesdays. So no matter where you are in the world, we are together, leaning into the valuable stories that resonate with you, adding a place of belonging, and sharing resources that may help make life just that much easier. Plus, meet your next best amiga after hearing their story every week. We are reaching the end of this empowering month of rebirth and renewal, celebrating the self-love of self-care and the faith to believe there is new life at the end of any struggle. Today's episode is the call to action that ultimately will heal you from the stressors of today's world. And boy, are they getting intense. All of this bringing you into a sense of calm and renewal to keep you safe from the breakdowns that stress can do to your body. When a simple aesthetic procedure led her nervous system into a stress response that turned her gorgeous brown skin a stark bleach white, our guest shares the shame she felt from it and the journey to discovering her true authenticity and her mission. Yvonne Hernández is a first-gen Mexican-American Mamá on a mission to teach meditation to 1 million children. As a bilingual Chopra certified meditation teacher and Reiki master, she's helping families become the calm in the chaos. Decide Balance, or Decide Balance, was founded in her journey to provide tools to manage stress, anxiety, and emotions for her kids' classrooms. Yvonne sought and implemented holistic healing after being diagnosed with vitiligo, and now she has reversed the pigmentation without the use of medication through the methods you will hear in this episode. In Yvonne's own words, I'm teaching people, the families, to decide balance within because you can't change, you can't control what's outside, but you can choose to have the internal balance. Now more than ever, we need these words in our first thoughts while dealing with a daily influx of disturbing news, cultural threats, and the aftermath of economic struggles. But as Yvonne continues, there is a way to live in joy, free from the stress and safe from the harm that it can cause. From what we hear each day to the products we put on our skin, stress comes in forms we don't even consider until our bodies tell us otherwise. So get into your comfy place, take a deep breath to let go, and get ready to meet your next best amiga. Welcome to Encuentras Your Voice podcast, Yvonne. I'm so grateful you're here to share both your ancestry, but really a valuable asset of your business for our audience. And in this day and age, I think we need it more than ever. So grateful you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm excited to have this conversation with you and share with your audience as well.
Great. Yes. I'm wondering how much people have access and exposure to the healing aspect of your business. But first, as we like to do, in archiving our diaspora, we'd love to hear your ancestral story, your family story, if you'd like to share.
So my roots are from Mexico, which is really interesting because when people ask me where my roots are from, and I said, okay, well, where do you think? And they say everywhere but Mexico, which is really interesting. People say, oh, you look like you're from Panama or El Salvador. Or, you know, when I went to go visit Europe, they're like, oh, are you from Egypt or from Morocco? Or I'm like, interesting. Like, it could be my eyes, my skin, my hair, like this beautiful mix, right? So it's just really neat to to get to know more about myself. I do feel really connected to my indigenous roots, which I feel like that plays a big role in my healing journey that I finally am embracing, which is, part of the story as well.
Isn't that interesting what you said about you felt it within you? Like it's in your DNA. This is a vital part of you that has risen to the surface. When was that moment that you felt you needed to turn towards that, or you felt it really surge for you and it became more of a part of you?
Definitely once I became a mom, I definitely felt that stronger connection, that stronger pulling, and also more into spirituality. And so I grew up Catholic, so I was born and raised Catholic. And so a lot of it was like, oh no, like that's brujeria and that's, that and da da da. But I knew that my grandmother did limpias, con el huevo, because I witnessed it and I remember that. And I'm like, what is that? But they never talked about it. And, but I knew that, my grandma was really religious. So there's like this side that she really couldn't talk about. So I really didn't know much, So then that curiosity began, right? And so that was on my dad's side. And then on my mom's side, I knew that my great grandmother became a healer because she went through a very traumatic time in her life where she had to be healed. And so she then started to learn from that lady and became the healer of the rancho. And so she would help other people. Oh, wow. So my mom would share stories that growing up, she never went to the doctor. It was like una sobada and the tea and the herb and the this, right? And they never went to the doctor. And the purga and like all these things, right? And so she was always healthy. They were always healthy, but they never went to the doctor. And I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. And so, all these little stories, and I just became even more and more curious. And so once I became a mom, I started going more into the more holistic approach. So using essential oils and massage and, trying the tea and trying to do as much preventative as I could. So that way my kids didn't have to go to the doctor as much. We would do as much holistic remedies before we went to the medicine, because I knew medicine is really strong. And yes, it's needed. There's a time and place. But I know that there's all these side effects, right? You need a medicine for this, and then you get a side effect, and now you need a medicine for that. And then now you need another medicine. And it's like this long, list of medication that you end up getting. And I didn't want that for my kids. So that's kind of how everything started evolving, and now really getting in touch with my intuition. So I feel like I'm more intuitive now, like how I'm making decisions, how I'll go about my day, how I run my business, like all these different aspects now is connecting to my intuition, which I feel, it's God, right? I feel that stronger connection.
It's very similar to our society today, where we have these natural intuitions where we feel we know what's best for us and which way to move. And yet we have all these voices outside, from familial all the way out to society, and then they come inside our head, right? Telling us we're wrong, or that we shouldn't do that, or it's going to be the I told you so, you should have known better, you should have listened to me. It could go on forever. So it's very understandable that really nothing has changed much in that regard when it comes to a civilization, a society that leans more towards rules and obligations and common thought, right? Was there a moment in your life growing up where you felt pulled, where you may have needed healing and it was coming down the regular doctor, medicines, very sterile kind of healing, versus wondering if maybe the homeopathic, more holistic healing would have done you better?
So over 21 years ago, I activated vitiligo in my body, which I feel like it's definitely part of this big shift in my journey, and which actually brought me closer to now doing this natural healing work. So the vitiligo activated because at the time I was living in Texas Then I got married, moved from Texas to California. So it's a whole new family, new life, new job, new friends. Like it's a big stress on your body. And at the same time, I was doing the laser hair removal therapy because I just didn't want to shave anymore. My underarms, right? I'm just like, I'm done shaving. And so that was a big stress on my body because the laser that I did in Texas was more like a heat, like a warm type of therapy. But then when I came to California, I continued. And this one was more like rubber bands. So it felt like stress on my underarms.
Ooh.
So then when I told them that my skin was like, I could see like white spots, they're like, oh, well, let's just increase the intensity. Maybe well, it made it worse. So
that sounds like it would, but okay.
Needless to say, I stopped and I was so embarrassed. I mean, I didn't even sue them. I didn't even want to take pictures. I probably should have taken pictures just for documentation purposes, but I just didn't want to. And I went through this negative down spiral of negativity. I hated myself. I hated my skin. I was so embarrassed. I was ashamed. I felt ugly. I felt like it was bad, girl. It was really bad. And it was one of those times where my prayers were, why me? Why me? Why me? Like, I don't get it, God. Why me? This is terrible. One day, everything shifted. And my prayer went from, okay, this has to be a blessing in disguise. Show me what I need to know. Like, I don't understand, but this has to be a blessing in disguise. And I think it was around that same time that I saw the movie The Secret. And so I think it was like a combination of like, okay, there's something happening, right? But I didn't quite understand what manifestation was and all these things, right? And so it was like all these things were shifting. Breath work came into my life. Meditation came into my life. Yoga came into my life. Mirror work, journaling, being in community, being around other mujeres, like so many things started shifting for me. And so then I really started going in deeper into my inner well-being. It's like, okay, well, what food am I eating? Learning about products, about makeup. Makeup is so toxic. I had no idea. And so then once I knew that, I changed all my makeup to legit clean. Not because this is cruelty-free. No, like these are clean ingredients. And learning how makeup is also a form of stress on your body. Your deodorant, your shampoo, your lotion, your nail polish, everything that you put on your body is it's toxic, and it's a form of stress that is being absorbed into your body. Once I knew that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's more stress on my body. So I started eliminating all these things. And slowly my vitiligo slowed down. And I noticed it. I stopped watching the news. So I have not watched the news since it's probably been 15 years. Scary movies that, you know, se me acelera el corazón. You know, it's just like, I can't, you know, removing myself from people that are toxic, from situations, really trying to distance myself from all those things that affect my nervous system. Because of the pandemic, I was part of the Wheel Girl community, and they had this really beautiful workshop, Meditation 101 with the Chopra Center. And I attended the workshop, and I was blown away. And I'm like, that's where I need to be. That's my teacher. That's exactly where I'm going to learn. So I enrolled. I became a meditation teacher. After that meditation graduation or certification graduation, I heard the message, I'm going to teach meditation to 1 million children. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's what I'm going to do. But then go back some years, at one point, my 3 kids were all under 5 years old. So that was a really challenging time, needless to say.
That is a lot. Talk about stress. Okay, we're back to stress.
But I heard this beautiful quote from the Dalai Lama where he says, if every 8-year-old in the world is taught meditation, we will eliminate violence within 1 generation. And I'm like, that's my kids' generation right here. That's, I can help. I can totally help. Even if it's just my kids that I teach meditation, right? And my vitiligo started reversing. So my beautiful brown skin started coming back. So girl, I don't know if you could see, but my elbows, this was all white. So like in my fingers, you could still see white. So my elbows were white right here.
Okay.
And now they're back to beautiful brown. It is the most coolest thing. So even on my underarms, you could start seeing my color is starting to come in.
Back.
But this was bright white. So I couldn't even wear sleeveless, strapless. I was just so embarrassed, right? But as I started making these little changes, my nervous system started calming down. I didn't even know that my nervous system was in shock until years later, once I started, going back. I'm like, what was it? Like, what is happening, right?
What caused it?
Yeah.
What started
it? And my
and I think that's something for the general population, maybe. I didn't know that was something that got developed. I didn't know that it was something that was coming off the nervous system just being fried, which is, that can be a lot in our cultura too.
I mean, so it's interesting. Yeah, it's our nervous system goes into shock.
Yes.
And so it's basically our body screaming, pay attention. You need to slow down. You need to take care of yourself.
Something's not right.
Something is up. My dermatologist said everybody has a vitiligo gene, and it's activated by high stress. But everybody's form of high stress is different. So it activates on some people and not on others.
It is amazing, though, that the doctor admitted that it was stress. Because especially for women, I found in caring for my mother all her life, I find that the doctors will never mention stress, will never mention that you're feeling something internally, that even your intuition, knowing something's wrong. So many doctors will, for women, say it's all in your head. Oh, it's because of your age. Oh, it's, and they'll not speak to actually having a natural cause, stress, natural cause, and you being able to find a natural remedy, a natural solution.
If she did recommend, a steroid cream, and I was just like,
there you go.
I can't.
There you go. More toxins.
Yeah, and I'm like, at the time, I mean, we had just gotten married. I'm like, eventually we're gonna have a family. I don't want my reproductive system to mess up because of my vanity that I want my color to come back. I'm like, no. And I'm like, so I just accepted what it is, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do the steroid cream. I'm just gonna be as is. I'll figure out something else. This is not for me. But inside, I knew this steroid cream is not for me. Like, I knew immediately.
It's so dangerous. I saw that in my mother, which was really shocking because I grew up a lot like you. I grew up immediately from my mother. She's from Peru. And we grew up totally homeopathic. And almost like, oh no, because you didn't want the barley tea. If you had a stomach ache or you had digestive issues, I would never say it because that barley tea, it is so bad. But at some point in her life, and I don't know if it was the level of illness she was reaching, she left that behind and really started grasping for the modern medicine, the Western medicine, the more toxic medicine. And I was so disappointed in her losing what she had known was the better. And she, like you said earlier, she would not, for her, like deodorant, she wouldn't use deodorant or antiperspirant. It was like this cream. It was like a neutralizing cream. She wouldn't use the toothpaste. And this is back in the 70s, right? She wouldn't use the toothpaste that had certain elements in it. Her lotion, she went to the Nivea. Back then, Nivea was still, like from Peru, was still fine. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting that you speak so much to how exposed we are to toxins, how our body reacts to not only what we consume and what we put on our bodies, but our situations as being toxic. And the really beautiful part for women to understand is the skin, right? The skin is the largest organ of absorbing all the pollutants, all the toxins, and we put more on us. So you speak to so many different elements that really are our entire daily life.
Feminine products.
It feels like.
Our monthly cycle. And even learning that a lot of these feminine products, they've found traces of pesticides. And I'm like, what?
Gosh.
And I'm like, you put this pad
Oh
in
my
your
gosh.
most sensitive, high absorbing area of your
Vulnerable.
body.
Mm.
Is no one checking
Mm.
these things? OMG. So
Not if it's cheaper. Not if they make more money.
yeah, and that's
They
why
don't want
it's
to.
cheap. They make more money. They don't care about women's reproductive organs,
Mm-hmm.
health. Like, it's really sad. And so now as a mother, we're doing clean products. And then you wonder why so many women have issues with the reproductive
Yes.
system, why so many kids have so many issues now. And it's because of the products, you know, the lotion, the shampoo, the body wash,
Mm-hmm.
the deodorants, like all these
Mm-hmm.
things. It's really sad.
And I agree. I don't do the nail polish. I don't dye my hair anymore. You figure, okay, all those chemicals are going to go right into my brain. Okay, nope.
Right?
I just accept whatever happens. This is the way it's going to come. Before we keep going into your business, I was wondering to stop because we've just given the listeners a load of threat, like a load of, oh no, for them to think about a minute. When it comes to stress that we all feel, that we all are under for work or in our family situations, where do we begin? What do you think are the top 3 little steps when it comes to reducing your exposure to these toxins and stresses? What's a good
I think
start?
first having the awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Having the awareness, it's like, okay, what are the things that I'm using? What am I listening to? Because even what we listen to is a stress.
Mm-hmm.
The news
Mm-hmm.
is a huge
Social media.
stress. Social media is a huge stress. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
clean up your feed. Follow good accounts. It messes with you. You know, you have this
Mm-hmm.
stress, and then your body is on survival mode, on fight or flight mode, right? And it's
Right.
not good. And so a lot of stress can lead to inflammation in our body, which can lead to illnesses. That's why it's disease. Your body is not at ease. And so I think first having the awareness of, okay, what am I doing? What am I listening to? What are my surroundings like? Can I start setting up boundaries? Who I allow into my space? Start eliminating those things that you can control, right? I mean, there's things that we cannot control, right?
Truth. Sure.
But what can you control? And slowly start switching your makeup. I highly recommend switching your makeup. And then also Credo Beauty does all the homework for you. It's like a Sephora, but for clean beauty. So I love watching, you know, who they're carrying, what they're carrying, and then just researching from there. And there's a ton of like clean beauty products. You just have to do a little digging. And if you don't want to do digging, just send me a DM. I'd be happy to make recommendations. But slowly start, you know, making those little changes. You know, what body wash are you using? Are they legit clean? Because a lot of them say, oh, this is botanical and it has essential oils, but it still has fragrance. One of the main things that I learned, if your product says fragrance, you can 99.999% be sure that it is toxic, because that's how a lot of companies hide toxic ingredients, because it makes them last longer, because the smell lasts longer, because it makes more bubbles or whatever it is, the thing that they need to do. But it's because it's like their secret formula or whatever they want to call it. And they put it into this blend, whatever, and they just categorize it as fragrance.
Oh, that is the dirt. We just got the dirt there. I had no idea.
It's
idea.
the worst thing.
Wow.
And that's what a lot of companies do. It's cheaper. They're like, oh, it's botanical essential oils, aloe vera, blah, 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 fragrance.
Sure.
Oh,
But
that's
so
unless
interesting.
it says, oh, the fragrance is derived from blah, blah, blah. Like it actually tells you what that fragrance is, then okay, fine.
Like a natural extraction, like lavender.
Yeah,
or
derivative of this specific plant or seed or whatever it is, and it's fine. But yeah, the majority of the products, that's how they hide their toxic ingredients. It's like, oh, that's so nuts. But it's just about...
It makes me like right now, I want to go look at all my products. I'm going to go find everything that says fragrance and toss.
Yeah, and that's why the things smell so good and it lasts forever. And I think the second thing that I like to recommend people is check in with yourself. How are you doing? Take in a deep breath, because a lot of times even just a deep breath makes a world of a difference. A lot of people function on shallow breathing. And then you wonder, how come I'm always so stressed out? How come I always have a headache? How come my body's always like feels so tense? Like, you know, your body just constricts, right? It's because you're trying to function on very little oxygen. So take that deep breath. It's free, girl. It's free. Take that deep breath.
Takes 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Wow, I didn't realize that. I didn't put those two and two together. I mean, it sounds logical, of course. You're not going to have as much oxygen if you're not breathing deeply, but I didn't realize the lack of oxygen spilling into your body that way, of why it's so difficult to be free-flowing, like you say, so and to be at ease, because you're trying to literally hold yourself up.
You're holding your breath.
From weakness.
I know I've caught myself, because I check in with myself constantly throughout the day, especially when there's like, you know, a challenging conversation or situation or something didn't go the way I had thought, you know, like I catch myself holding my breath and I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, okay, take a deep breath, take several deep breaths. And I'm like, even though I practice deep breathing, I still catch myself holding my breath. And I'm like, holy smokes. I'm glad I'm checking in because I need to breathe. If not, I'm functioning on little breath and then a little oxygen. And then I get frustrated. I can't think clearly. Things aren't going right. And then you wonder why. It's like, well, because you don't have enough oxygen in your brain.
How are the kids with the deep breathing? Is that something that they can understand and engage?
They do. And it's really neat. I had this one little girl. She was in 2nd grade. She said, Miss Yvonne, I was at my soccer game and we lost. And instead of yelling, I remember what you told us, and I took a deep breath, and I didn't get mad. And I was like, that's huge. And I'm like, took a deep breath. That is huge. So they are listening.
Okay.
Because I tell them, just take a deep breath before, you know, someone made you mad. And we talk about it.
This goes back to what the Dalai Lama was saying, of eliminating the violence just by staying in the moment and soothing yourself in a most natural meditative way. I'd like to get back to that now, as you were saying, and we're listening to you working with the children, being in the classrooms. What was it like approaching the classrooms and approaching the school to introduce this?
Yeah, so I started in my kids' school. So at the time, my son, who's now 15, he was in 3rd grade. And they were going through a big transitional phase, construction phase at their school. And so all of 3rd grade were moved to bungalows while they were finishing up that building. And so it was a small classroom. They went from this huge, spacious classroom to a closet, basically. That's what it felt like. And so I knew something was off with my son. And so I would ask him and he wouldn't really tell me. And then finally he shared, like, you know, his classroom is really small. And so I just reached out to his teacher and I said, oh, you know, is it okay if I come in and do a meditation and some breathing exercises with the kiddos? I think this would really help them. And just me, myself, learning how meditation was helping me, because I would just put on my earbuds, listen to a meditation, and it would just help me regulate after sleeping 4 hours, right? And then being on call 24 hours, you know, a day with my little ones. And so I knew meditation and breath work was helpful. And so his teacher said, yes, you can come in on Friday mornings, which is their test day. So I started going Friday mornings. And one of the moms even asked me, she's like, oh, are you the mom who's doing the meditation? And I said, yes. She's like, thank you so much. My daughter suffers from test anxiety. And ever since you've been going, it's been helping her. 3rd grade, girl, 3rd grade is having test anxiety. And I'm like, wow, this is bigger than I thought. It's not just where they are, but it's the testing. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff happening at home. I mean, so many things. And meditation and breath work is actually helping them. And so slowly all these things started coming together.
Okay, so your entire business stemmed from entering into the classrooms and the schools and seeing the beautiful outcomes. So you knew that was like your test case. You knew this was something needed and easily accessible. And it was brilliant. You put it on as a podcast for parents to have you 24/7 at that point. We should first introduce the name of the business and where that developed from. You've spoken to how it's engaging the community and the students in the schools. Does it go beyond the schools?
So the name Decide Balance, that's the name of my company. I was very intentional. I wanted a name that was bilingual. So Decide Balance, Decide Balance. I'm like, goodness, this is perfect. And it's exactly what I'm doing. I'm teaching people, the families, to decide balance within, because you can't change, you can't control what's outside, but you can choose to have the internal balance. It's up to you, right? You can choose to stay upset and frustrated and angry, whatever, or you can choose to connect to that beautiful peace that we have inside. And then also during the pandemic, I learned about Reiki. So I did my Reiki certification. So I also offer Reiki in person and distance sessions, individual sessions. I do group sessions. And then I teach people how to do Reiki on themselves as well and attune them. And then I also started doing sound baths in person. So that's been really fun to combine the Reiki and the bilingual meditation with the sound bath. And it's just been this beautiful experience. And so working with the community, so like here in Orange County, working with the Orange County Healthcare Agency and Latino Health Access and just different organizations, different businesses, different companies as well, you know, collaborations with other amigas, with their women empowerment events, with their family events. If you think about the leaders in the world right now, the decisions that they're making, do you think that they have a meditation practice or a yoga practice or a breathwork practice? No, they do not. They're making such horrible decisions that are affecting everybody. And so
the children.
What if the future leaders of the world had a meditation practice, if they had a breathwork practice? This world would be completely different. And it will be. Actually, I'm calling it out. I'm calling it in.
Nice. Manifest
The world is going to witness world peace. All it takes is one generation to make that change. And I can see that now with this, with the younger generation, how they're really standing up and they're making changes. They're using their voice for good.
They've had so much violence in their own generation in the spaces that were supposed to be safe. We're supposed to be caring for them. As they're getting to adults and they can have the power and the leadership themselves, they know how to make that change to protect the children. It is wicked. That's a beautiful manifestation.
So that's what I'm working on.
Oh, in my lifetime. How many generations?
I know.
In my lifetime,
I
would love to see that.
It's 25 years. One generation is 25 years. Totally possible. We can totally witness this. And I always thought, even if I don't get to witness it, but I pray that my children do. That's why I'm doing this work. That's why this means so much to me. Like, it's just craziness what we're experiencing right now. They do not deserve this world in their future, right? They deserve a much better world, a much better environment, a much better life. And it's totally possible, you know? Even just taking a deep breath will make a big difference in somebody's life. Take a deep breath before you respond to someone. Responding instead of reacting makes a big difference. And what if all these leaders would do that? Respond to the different situations, respond to what the people need instead of reacting, instead of being greedy with their decisions. You know? It would be a much different and much better world.
That's a beautiful, beautiful sentiment. Beautiful. That is so empowering because I've never heard it as far as changing an entire generation and changing their mindset and not waiting for them to become old enough to have effect, that we're affecting them their entire life to be ready for this compassionate, empathetic leadership when they get there. I've never heard that, and I feel so relieved. I feel so happy and joyous that you are putting so much dedication into making this happen in your own community. And I want to take this international.
Yes.
Let's bring you international.
It's going to be global. That's why I'm calling it World
bring you.
Children Meditation Day. I'm not just Children
Love
Meditation Day.
that.
Like there is World Peace Day, World Meditation Day. How about World Children Meditation Day? Like let's really call in the kids. Let's
Oh, I would
really
love that.
empower them. Make this about them.
When you talk about Decide Balance, and you have the podcast, and you have the sessions, and you're entering the schools, I have two questions. You chose to make it bilingual, to make it more accessible, to bring it to the comunidad. Did you get any pushback in the comunidad from, because this is somewhat modern, hasn't been necessarily brought generation to generation like we've been discussing in the past, the medicines and the healing. So it was well received.
Yeah, it's been fine. And actually people enjoy it. Even people that don't really know Spanish that much, the adults that don't know Spanish that much, they really enjoy it because they feel like they're listening to my translation and let go of this long list of all the things that they have going on, the chitter chatter that's going on. They actually end up focusing on me translating everything as I'm going.
Beautiful. Now, for people who are not maybe involved in Reiki themselves or haven't been part of a meditation class or part of a sound bath, maybe draw us through a sound bath session. What is that experience like for them?
So a sound bath can be, 20 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours overnight, whatever it is, whatever the practitioner has time for or whatever the time is allowed. But a sound bath is like this beautiful, deep release, deep rest feeling. It is amazing. The first time I experienced an over sound bath, it was the day before Mother's Day. That was what I wanted for Mother's Day. I was like, I don't want anything else. I don't want candy, flowers. Like, I want a sound bath. I had no idea what it was or had never experienced even a 30-minute one or an hour. But I was called to it. And I said, I'm all in. I'm going all in. So I went to this overnight sound bath. It was the best experience. So much was released. I felt like jello the next day. I felt amazing. I felt energetic, this clarity. It was amazing. It was amazing. And so you're able to gently release all this stress, all, this trauma that we carry in our bodies. And it's not going to be 100%. I mean, it's taken years, right, for us to get to this moment. But a lot is lifted off in a beautiful, gentle way that all you need to do is lay down and go to sleep. I mean, how easy is that?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, that sounds so luscious
so good,
right now.
so good. And you just enjoy the vibrations and the sounds and the moment, the feeling. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. It's a beautiful experience.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
And so, and then,
And I was wondering, is it the vibrations? Is it the vibrations that affect our bodies and get it to relax?
It's the vibration and the combination with the sounds as well.
Okay.
And then what I do with mine, I infuse my sound bath with Reiki. So Reiki is a Japanese energy healing modality. And so you can infuse Reiki into anything, into this podcast, into your water, into your day, into whatever it is, into your healing. And so I infuse it into my sound bath. And so I set my intention. My intention is to support everybody to gently release what no longer serves them.
I felt that when you were describing it initially, I felt that you were giving me permission. And then you ended up saying that, like, I felt that we almost need permission from someone else's voice. It's like, stop, let go, relax, feel free to fill in the blank.
And another thought that...
And that it has an immediate response, like, okay.
But something that just came up is, as Latinos, we're also raised to keep moving. Do not rest. Do not take a nap. If you're just sitting there, eres flojo, right? Move it. ¿Qué estás haciendo?
Yes.
Ponte a trabajar, ponte a trapear, and I remember that just from my upbringing. It's like, yes, like I need to go sweep. I need to go figure out something to clean, like I can't be lazy, it's like, go do something, right?
Yeah.
So we have this internalized, but it's also back from our ancestors. They weren't allowed to rest.
No.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
right? So when we rest,
right.
we are resting for ourselves and we are resting for our ancestors as well. So that's what I remind people when we're in this sound bath. It's like you're resting for you and your ancestors, your lineage, who may not have had the opportunity to rest. So I give you permission. If you need permission, I give you permission to just let go, rest, and take this time for yourself.
Oh, and your voice is so perfect for this. I'm finding myself dazing off during this podcast. It's like, I don't want to go do the rest of my day. I just want to go sit in the sunshine now. This is such a beautiful moment.
So now I take a nap. I'm like, I feel tired. I'm going to take a nap.
That is definitely something. That is something, because I was a single mom for 22 years with 2 daughters. And I was go, 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 because you didn't have any help. Nobody was helping you. If anything, they were making it harder on you, right? And it wasn't until I think I was caring for my mom. She was passing. I was getting my master's. I was running my engineering company, and I had 2 daughters in private university, all in the same year, 2 years. And it was then, like you said, where my body was like, oh, we're not doing this anymore, girlfriend. We are fried. And I started getting a lot more of that symptoms you were talking about. Feeling like, no, something's breaking down. That's the first time in my life. I was, 50? That was the first time in my life that I went, I'm going to lie down in the middle of the day and take a nap because I can't keep this up. And I think I was less concerned really about me and my person, but that if something happened to me, my mother had nobody. So there still was another hook.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how much of our life is like put onto this treadmill that's going and that we don't get off. But all these sessions you speak of, and all these moments and the intentions and the deep breathing, it does instantly make it all go away for me. I love it. I appreciate it. I can't wait to have you here.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yes, we need this. I'm thinking for your business as an entrepreneur, as a Latina entrepreneur, fastest growing population of business owners in the U.S., that you introduce this into your own business mindset. And that changes maybe how you do business. Are you finding that?
Yeah, definitely. Because, I'm a business major, so there was a lot of structure. It has to be this way, certain way. Mm-hmm. And as I've been now through this healing journey and connecting with my intuition, it's like, yeah, no, my intuition says this. I'm going to do this. And it feels so much better. And it flows so much better. And when I don't, like I've challenged, and there's been times where I'm like, you know what? No, maybe I should get back to this, to the structure, to the da-da-da-da-da. And I don't feel good. Like everything is off. And it's just, it's not me and it's not flowing. Mm-hmm. The hustle mode, the hustle mentality, it's terrible. And that's what, business school was about. It's like, oh yeah, you hustle and you work hard. And even in general, right? Just, in general, the hustle mentality, it's like you have to work hard and play hard and, work. And, that's how you're going to make money and, with your sweat. And it was like, no, you burn out. I've been in burnout. I don't want to be in that mode. No way. I want to be in flow. I want to be in joy. And that's what I like. And that's how I'm growing my business, by being in that flow, joyous state.
I'm feeling like there's another business coming out of this business. Going back to your business background. But it's interesting you say that, because just last week, or we still have the episode going onward, Alejandra Rojas speaks exactly to that, because she was a finance major, But like you just said, it's all framed around keeping the people in power, and about the hustle mode and about money mode. And it does not take into account the context of our family stories, of our family generational history context. They weren't on the hustle, money at all expense, even if it's to your health, to your family, to people around you, like we've been talking, right? All this whole episode. Oh, we have a beautiful story of you, a beautiful knowing of who you are and what you've really passionately put out there in the world for all of us to benefit. I'm just so grateful that you're doing this and we're all benefiting. This is a very empathetic way of living to affect an entire global generation of children. What is something we wouldn't guess about you?
I love to dance in the kitchen. But maybe you would.
Any particular music?
All music. I change it all the time, from rock en español to Selena to, Mariah Carey to 90s or now, or
do people join in?
Sometimes.
Do your kids join in with
rarely.
you?
Sometimes I just see them, just moving their shoulders, but they won't actually I have to grab them and it's like, okay, vuelta. They're like, oh, Mom.
I love that.
But they continue. They don't leave. So I'm like, I know they like it.
Yes,
I know they like it.
They do like it. They do like it. They're just teenagers and they won't admit it.
I know. It's like, you got to learn cumbia. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA. It's so cute. So
there you go. How do people reach out to you? How do they find more about you, about Decide Balance, and about what you're offering?
So anywhere on social media, Decide Balance, Decide Balance, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube. My website is Decide Balance, so everything is in there. My podcast is Decide Balance. And I also started a community, a safe space for us to come together, meditate together. Twice a month, we meditate together live. So that way, we're a community. It's just so beautiful when you meditate together in community and start getting the kids, comfortable with meditation. And if they have questions, and we don't make it very long, just 15 minutes. Their attention span sometimes is so short, and eventually it's going to be in different languages. So I do have friends around the world who are open to the idea of teaching meditation in German, in French, in Italian, and, all these beautiful languages. So not just English and Spanish. And that's within my website. You can find it in Decide Balance. It's called Oasis, and it's a monthly membership of $9.99. And I have resources, or recordings, even a monthly tip.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And what can our listeners support you with? How can they offer support back to you?
If they can share my mission of teaching meditation to 1 million children, whether sharing my podcast or just sharing my name, dropping my name. And even if you know someone that would like to collaborate, maybe at a school, an organization that works with kiddos, anyone that is open to the idea of teaching meditation to 1 million children, I would be forever grateful. It's for that introduction, for that connection, and to just help me get closer. So I'm over 2,000 kiddos right now. So I'm inching my way up, keep moving along, whatever it is, and figuring out new ways to connect with more families.
Oh, we shall. I felt like when you said that, you dropped those 2,000, yes, but all the ripples that rock in the water.
The ripple effect that is happening. Outward. That's already happening. I mean, just listening to the kiddos. And there was a little girl, she was in 5th grade. And the year later, she said, "Oh, Miss Yvonne, you taught my little brother."
Yes, definitely. Oh, I love this. It's such a joyous rebirth, renewal moment in April. This is our theme. This is such a beautiful way to wrap up the month and say, yes, lead towards yourself, lean towards that peace of mind and healing. Thank you so much, Yvonne. It's been a beautiful, beautiful podcast, and takeaway has been huge. Thank you.
Thank you as well, Consuelo. I appreciate you thinking of me and reaching out, and for this beautiful time together as well.
Thank you. It's been gorgeous. I'm just, I am so eager now. I know I'm supposed to be at peace and healing and resting, but I'm just so eager to implement what you've taught us.
Awesome.
Did you get up during the episode and clear out all of your products with the vague ingredient fragrance? Who knew? You never know what's going to come out on these episodes from the knowledge and passion of every one of our guests. Beautiful and soulful Yvonne Hernández, out to teach 1 million children the art of meditation, deep breathing, and living a calm life, learning to respond rather than react, and bring peace to the world in one generation. Join us next week as we start off May with this peaceful sense of joy. We have to remember there has always been problems in the world that cause pain to us, but our joy in community remains. We are here together in solidarity and in peace and loving each other. So continue to thrive, amigas. Lean in for support and abrazos and step into your truth. Ciao. We love that you have subscribed to this podcast and continue to champion women who understand the life of all things Latina. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the Encuentras Your Voice podcast so you don't miss a single episode. They will automatically drop into your listening device each week, and we'd really appreciate if you take a moment to add to the reviews that we already have. Tell us what you like, tell us what you're hoping to hear, and we will get there. Share this with your friends and family to help us grow our comunidad, and keep following us on our social media to Encuentras Your Voice. We are so grateful to you for helping us grow this community and would love to learn of all the amazing Latinas who you know are creating the world we thrive in. So reach out to me on social media at Encuentras Your Voice, and let's keep leaning into our authenticity in pride. Help us make Encuentras Your Voice the place where you are 100%